Shalom, shalom. I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahawah, Bahashem, Yahawahshi, Bahashem, Rakak Qudash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. And shalom to the elect of the nation of Israel. And I'm going to start out in Matthew 8, the first chapter, and we'll see where the Spirit takes me. This is Shabai from the GMS Denver camp, and I'm going to go in on Matthew 8, starting at 1. So it says, when he was come down from the mountain, great multitudes followed him, talking about Yahawahshi. And behold, there came a leper and worshipped him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. And Yahawahshi put forth his hand and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean immediately, and his leprosy was cleansed. And remember, leprosy is actually when you have white skin, white marks. You've seen, and you got to understand, this was an Israelite that he healed. So it was more than likely a so-called, he would have looked like a so-called black person with leprosy. You've seen Israelites that have dark skin and then white spots on their faces, covering up maybe one half of their face, or on their body, where it's like bleached white. That's what this is dealing with. Leprosy it's white, it's skin. So really, so-called white people, or you're actually the Edomite, you're actually red people. That's what Edom means. It means red. The leprosy, your skin is literally leprosy, because you have no pigment, no melanin in your skin. So this is verse 4. And Yahawahshi saith unto him, See thou tell no man, but go thy way, show thyself to the priests, and offer the gift that Moses commanded for a testimony unto them. Okay? Alright, so Yahawahshi, when he would do these miracles and these healings, a lot of times he charged the people not to say nothing, right? To keep it on the down low, in other words. Alright, so verse 5. Let's see. And when Yahawahshi was entered into Capernaum, there came unto him a centurion, beseeching him, and saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yahawahshi saith unto him, I will come and heal him. And again, you have to understand, all the miracles that were performed, they weren't done on the heathen. They weren't done on the Edomites. Okay, so the centurion, a centurion is a Roman soldier, right? So people will say, oh, well, he was healing the Romans, which we know the Romans are Edomites. But like I'm always explaining constantly, you have citizenship and you have heritage. So this centurion, he was a citizen of Rome, but he was an Israelite. Okay, so just like now you have, like, I'll give you an example, the dude Colin Powell. He was in the modern day Roman army, right? He was a high-ranking officer, which in the American United States military, right? But he's actually an Israelite because he's a so-called black man, right? So that's the same type of thing you have right in this account in Matthew 8. A so-called black man who was part of the Roman military, okay? And he's a centurion, and a centurion refers to an ancient Roman army officer who commanded a century of soldiers, or in other words, 100. He was in charge, or he oversaw 100 other soldiers. A centurion, okay? So we'll keep reading. Lock you. And saying, Lord, my servant lieth at home sick of the palsy, grievously tormented. And Yahawahshi saith unto him, I will come and heal him. The centurion answered and said, Lord, I am not worthy that thou shouldest come under my roof, but speak the word only, and my servant shall be healed. For I am a man under authority, having soldiers under me. Remember, 100 soldiers under a centurion. And I say to this man, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. Right? Because he was their overseer. He was their, military commander as a centurion. That's his responsibility. So it says in verse 10, When Yahawahshi heard it, he marveled, and said to them that followed, Verily I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no, not in Israel. Right? In Israel, he's talking about the Israelites who were who were actually in Jerusalem, in Israel, right? He didn't have, because you got to remember, our people are stubborn, hard-headed, stiff-necked people. But he found greater faith of men who were Israelites, but they were in the Gentile mindset. Just like right now, you have Israelites that are, we deal with Israelites all the time, but our people are in a Gentile mindset, okay? So let's keep reading. And I say unto you that many shall come from the east and the west, and shall sit down with Abraham and Isaac and Jacob in the kingdom of heaven. So he's explaining to the centurion that, basically about the Gentiles. There are going to be men from all different sides of the earth, the east, the west, who are going to come into this knowledge, come into this truth. But the children of the kingdom shall be cast out into outer darkness. There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Yeah, because a lot of the Israelites rejected Yahawahshi. So he had found, because remember, a lot of the Jews were against Yahawahshi. They were basically saying, hey, this is not the Messiah. This guy, he's got a devil on him. And this is like today. You have a lot of the Israelites, they come against us, right? They're like, these guys are not the prophets of the Lord, And Yahawahshi saith unto the centurion, Go thy way, and as thou hast believed, so be it done unto thee. And his servant was healed in the self same hour. All right, so that's another indicator or proof that this centurion was an Israelite, because only Israelites can have this type of faith, okay? You're not going to have an Edomite soldier who's going to have this type of faith, because you got to remember the Bible, the scriptures condemns the Edomite. Okay? It says, And when Yahawahshi was come into Peter's house, he saw his wife's mother laid and sick of a fever. And he touched her hand, and the fever left her, and she arose and ministered unto them. Right? So she was sick. Yahawahshi touched her. And you have to have faith to be healed. So all these people that were getting healed, not only were they getting healed, but they had faith, and they actually believed that Yahawahshi was the Son of God, the Son of Yahweh, the Son of the Most High. Okay? So in this case, Peter's mother, her fever left her, and she got up and started serving Yahawahshi. Okay? When the even was come, they brought unto him many that were possessed with devils, and he cast out the spirits with his word, and healed all that were sick. And what's with his word? With the scriptures, with the breaking down and expounding and explaining the scriptures, just like we do on the streets and on the videos. If you're able to receive this knowledge, receive this truth, well, guess what? It's going to heal you from being sick. And sometimes the sickness is your mindset. You come across this knowledge, you heard one of the prophets break down the scriptures, and you're like, oh shoot, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense, right? This is what Yahawahshi was doing. It says, Now when Yahawahshi saw great multitudes about him, he gave commandment to depart unto the other side. And a certain scribe came and said unto him, Master, I will follow thee whithersoever thou goest. And Yahawahshi saith unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man hath not where to lay his head. Right, because part of the ministry, part of this ministry is suffering. Matter of fact, it's a big part of the ministry. All right, we don't have the best situations. We're not all, it's not all smooth sailing when it comes to this ministry. Okay, that's why he said, even the Son of Man doesn't even have a place to stay. And another of his disciples said unto him, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. But Yahawahshi said unto him, follow me and let the dead bury the dead. So right here, this is this is like those fly-by-night Israelites. You have Israelites that'll drop everything on a dime to follow Yahawahshi and to do the work. Then you have Israelites who will say, hey, I got to do this first. When it comes down to it, we're supposed to put this ministry, this truth, it's got to be the priority, you see? It's not about, let me do this first and then I'll serve the Lord. See? So it says here, and then Yahawahshi says, let the dead bury the dead. I remember when I was in Christianity and I read that verse, I was confused. I didn't have no idea what that meant. But what it means is, let the dead bury the dead, meaning that you had somebody who he's got to go bury his father. Yahawahshi is telling him, look, let those other people bury him because they're dead in the spirit. Just like now, if somebody was to pass away in my family or one of the brotherhood family members dies, well, guess what? We're going to let the dead bury the dead because the majority of our family is not in this ministry, is not in this truth. They don't believe this stuff. You see, they're still hearkening to lies and worshiping idols, and that likens you unto a dead man. Like if you're calling Yahweh God, you're dead. If you're calling Yahawahshi Cracker Jesus, you're dead. You see? So let the dead bury the dead. And when he was entered into a ship, his disciples followed him, and behold, there arose a great tempest in the sea, and so much that the ship was covered with waves, but he was asleep. Right, because Yahawahshi, you got to understand, he was Yahawahshi. He was all knowing, he had all the faith, all the secrets, all the answers, So there's a storm and he was just asleep in the boat, right? It says, and his disciples came to him and awoke him, saying, Lord, save us, we perish. And, the disciples, they were walking among the Son of God. They were with Yahawahshi. But yet, even with that fact being present, they still had, they're in the flesh. They had some times when they doubted. Like this is a case or an account when they're literally doubting, doubting the whether of that they were going to make it. They thought they were going to die in the storm. Okay, it says here. Let me see, where am I at? 26, and he saith unto them, Why are ye fearful, O ye of little faith? Then he arose and rebuked the winds and the sea, and there was a great calm. But the men marveled, saying, What manner of man is this, that even the winds and the sea obey him? See? So Yahawahshi, he woke up, he's like, man, y'all, what's going on? I'm the Son of the Most High. You guys are with me. You guys are dwelling with me. Right? Why are you tripping? He can calm the winds. He can calm the sea, right? And when he was come to the other side into the country of Gergesenes, there met him two possessed with devils, coming out of the tombs exceeding fierce, so that no man might pass by that way. All right, so now he's dealing with some people who had some spirits on them, some demons on them. And behold, they cried out, saying, What have we to do with thee, Yahawahshi, thou Son of God, Son of Yahweh? Art thou come hither to torment us before the time? And there was a good way off from them, unheard of many swine feeding. So the devils besought him, saying, If thou cast us out, suffer us to go away into the herd of swine. And so they were, they're like, basically, if you're really the son of God, then take these demons off of us, right? Because you got a lot of people that have a lot of wicked spirits on them. Lots of these people have wicked spirits. But we, as the men of Yahawahshi, if we're sincere, brothers, we have the power to rebuke these devils, rebuke these wicked spirits. Verse 32, it says, "And he said unto them, Go, and when they were come out, they went into the herd of swine. And behold, the whole herd of swine ran violently down a steep place into the sea and perished in the waters." So those wicked spirits jumped off of those men onto those pigs, and they ran violently into the water, and the pigs died. He those spirits that were on those people jumped on those pigs, as in the animals, right? And they caused them to just run into the ocean or the sea, and they ended up just dying. If they drowned, right? That's what wicked spirits do, man. Wicked spirits will possess people and animals to do crazy shit, just like we just read. Verse 33, "And they that kept them fled and went in their ways into the city and told everything and that was befallen to the possessed of the devils." Right? So some of the men kept those spirits on them, and they went back to the city, and they testified about the account of Yahawahshi transferring those wicked spirits from those people onto those pigs. So people was like, you know what I'm saying? These are miracles. And remember, Yahawahshi said that his men are going to do even greater miracles. So just imagine the things that were the power that we're coming into. But you can't doubt. You have to have faith. Okay. "And behold, the whole city came out to meet Yahawahshi, and when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coasts." Okay. So let me see. I always forget what that word besought means. So in the Greek, it's parakaleo.
Strong's G 3870. Parakaleo.
Parakaleo. Okay, so, "And behold, the whole city came out to meet Yahawahshi, and when they saw him, they besought him that he would depart out of their coast." To call for, that's what it means. To speak to entreat, to encourage. So, but yeah, that's what it is, man. This chapter basically went into the first part was talking about the centurion's faith. The second part of that chapter was going into Yahawahshi healing Peter's mother, and then the third, which is mother-in-law, actually, and then the disciples tested their faith was tested in the tempest of the sea, where they had lacked faith for a time. I feel like, did I read that whole chapter? Because that went kind of quick. Let's see. Yeah, that was it. So, and in the end, Yahawahshi casting out demons that were on those people had wicked spirits. And Yahawahshi casted the spirits onto the animals, the pigs. The pigs basically committed suicide by rushing into the waters. So, hey, man, Jacob's trouble is coming. We're pretty much at the beginning stages. We got to remember to keep the faith. We got to remember to keep enduring, keep pushing. we're going to have, miracles. We're going to have, Salakia. We're going to have opportunities to let the power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai be revealed in us, through us. You see? So just keep pushing, keep enduring, and keep the faith, brothers. With that, I want to give all the praise, all the glory, all the honor unto Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai Ba'ashem Ukah Kodash. Double honors goes out to the elder apostles of Great Millstone for teaching me the truth. Also want to acknowledge all the Akyam who are pushing the truth with sincerity throughout the four corners of the earth. Shalom to the elect. Keep enduring.